as the convention embarked upon a series of regional information listening exercise. And that was a really good idea from Tom Arnold as chair, to go out and sell the idea of the convention and to listen to people around Ireland. And we were very present at each of those meetings, and we did have success, because the conclusion of those information and listening exercises was that the convention agreed to a full plenary review of Constitutional Convention or protection of ESC rights. So that plenary took place on 22nd, 23rd February 2014, some 2 years ago. I think the Constitutional Convention was a very good example of deliberative democracy. There was inputs by expert panel, there was clarification process, there was then due deliberation at tables by the members, and very succinct conclusions. It was very important to have the best experts inputting, and we were very lucky to have Professor Aoife Nolan from the University of Nottingham. She was excellent. And to ensure that civil society organisations invited to participate in the open forum were kind of auto-suggestive. They had a good profile, they were very articulate in putting the points. We had Mike Allen of Focus and Colm O'Gorman of Amnesty. The convention recommendations then, as Betty said, was 85% concluded that the Constitution needs to be amended to strengthen ESC rights. That's powerful. 56% wished to make specific recommendations there and now, and there were various ones, and 43% concluded that there should be further consideration on the implications of possible reforms. And the Secretariat concluded that it would be a good practice to have some sort of follow-up process, either a working group or an expert group or a committee or whatever. And we felt that was inevitable anyway. So prior to the election, this election, 2016, government finally committed. It didn't respond in 4 months. It took from February, March 2014 to January of 2016 to respond to the convention report. But it did eventually commit to consideration of the report by an Oireachtas committee. Now, we're in the doldrums at the minute, but that commitment is there, and I believe that the civil servants will action that in due course. So that's really good. So just some conclusions. From being through this process, and sometimes it can be very frustrating, as you know, and in Ireland, when you're looking back at all this, the historical period that's thrown up in the past 100 years, colonisation can debilitate generations. And I often notice that sometimes we act as if we don't own the place, Even after independence, it leaves that residue, the clientelism, the corruption, and in Ireland, this pervasive admiration for couteurism. And it's still going on. You can see it in the last election. But colonisation, it doesn't account for all the failures. We have to take responsibility and take some authority. For instance, the treatment of women or those marginalised by low income, ethnicity, or differences of sexual preferences, or ability and disability. We still haven't got to grips with that. So why are we unable to address poverty, housing needs, or to put in place an equitable health system? I mean, these failures are our own doing. They're within our own power to do something about. And in that sense, I would echo what Chekhov said when he spoke of the need for Russians to squeeze the slave out of themselves drop by drop. And I think we need to do that too. So 100 years on, it's time to be ambitious, to go for grand strokes that will create the conditions for an equitable society, a good society. And implementing economic, social and cultural rights in our constitution would be a good start. Thank you.